I would like to welcome Lakshan Chitrakumaran, who is the chair of Tamils for Labour. Lakshan.
Sorry, unlike my colleague, I'm unable to speak without notes, so I'm going to take full advantage of paper here. Thank you all for coming today. We're happy to be meeting up again with so many people here in person during the conference who have been supporting us throughout this COVID-19 pandemic. First, we, the Tamils for Labour, would like to express our deep and utmost appreciation for the work that our party has accomplished and continues to do by taking up the cause and the plight of the Tamils who have been suffering from the human rights crisis in Sri Lanka. We appreciate Ed and David Miliband, the Labour shadow government and Labour governments in the past, and the leadership of Ed Miliband and Jeremy Corbyn in the past for putting pressure on the Conservative government on this regard. The Tamils for Labour itself, since 2006, have been evolving. We have many more young people coming into our party who as members have embraced Labour values and have come into Tamils for Labour. We are seeing many strong, passionate, as you see, driven young women who believe in our party, who have not only engaged but worked consistently within Labour. They have come forward, bringing their energising spirit with them and inspired their peers, transforming them into contributors. I can say that with full heartedness. To this purpose, I would like to take a brief moment to thank the members of our team here, who some of you may remember have been in virtual meetings across the pandemic and during the local campaigns. Through 15 years of being an active political support group, the Tamils for Labour has transformed democratically with a fresh outlook and a dynamic move into the right direction, both within the party and within itself as individuals. We will work with the Labour Party, providing support at constituency levels across the UK to come into power, and for us to play a stronger role in the Labour Party and to bring up issues affecting politics and Tamils in the UK. Secondly, as the chair for the Tamils for Labour, I ask our party to look at 4 crucial things today on the human rights situation in Sri Lanka. We wish to present you with a 4-tier system of actions to counteract and bring to an end the current state-led structural genocide in Sri Lanka. Our 4-tier system of actions looks at accountability and justice, the Global Human Rights Sanctions Regime Act, stopping unethical trade, and a political solution for Tamils in Sri Lanka. The Tamil community remain a positive, passionate and driven contributor across Great Britain, continue to suffer the trauma of our families and friends in Sri Lanka today, who live in a dreadful human rights situation that has ravaged across most of the last 100 years. The Conservative government accepted an international commitment to hold Sri Lanka to accountability and justice for its serious human rights atrocities, including war crimes, crimes against humanity and genocide, but Britain has been failing to hold Sri Lanka accountable in this process. The effort towards an international investigation was initiated by Ed Miliband and David Miliband in 2013, and it sparked the hopes of the Tamil community that Britain could bring an end to the genocide that had been facing for nearly a century. Mothers and sisters of the disappeared and daughters have been waiting in roadside hunger protests in the burning suns of Sri Lanka for over 4.5 years, continuously. However, their hopes, their burning will to provide evidence, and their lives are dying away, one elderly mother at a time. In the past 2 years, at the United Nations Human Rights Council, the Sri Lankan state threw out its most brazen and forceful challenge to the international community to stop investigation into its history of cyclical violence, structural genocide, and above all, its deep-rooted, inhuman level of impunity. We need the Labour Party to provide support to set up an international criminal justice mechanism for Sri Lanka, stop the cycles of violence, militarization, and land grabs in the north and east of Sri Lanka, and recognize the genocide of Tamil people in Sri Lanka. Over the past 2 years, the Tamils for Labour have met with and encouraged numerous Labour parliamentarians to write letters to the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office on the situation, and the need to apply the existing UK Global Act, Global Human Rights Sanctions Regime Act, to Sri Lanka to the list of alleged perpetrators released by the UN Human Rights Council. However, they have all, on every occasion, received a box standard response from the Minister of South Asia and the Commonwealth. The FCDO have been managing the situation very carefully. We want the Labour government, our party, to bring the end to this deliberate complacency from the Conservatives. We need our party to apply the Global Human Rights Sanctions Regime Act and list the perpetrators of serious atrocity crimes in Sri Lanka. We see unbridled, unethical trade. We want the Labour Party, our party, to apply phased out, calibrated sanctions as an effective leverage and develop a time-bound, implementation plan of actions. These actions are carefully considered to minimize hurting the civilian population. Food, medical and other essential supplies are excluded from this list of sanctions. And finally, to bring a permanent peace and stability to Sri Lanka, we would like the Labour Party, as per the previous Labour manifesto, to recognise the Tamils as a nation with their traditional homeland in the north and east of Sri Lanka and their right to self-determination, and a political solution based on the legitimate aspirations of Tamils with international arbitration for the successful conclusion. Finally, we would like to thank all of you who have come to attend, partake and work with us, not only in this conference, but for the past few years. And with deep gratitude, we express our bright hopes to move forward and working with our party, the Labour Party. Thank you.